Folks, today is the 24th of Tavis. 210 years ago today, our teacher, the Alter Rebbe, passed away. 210 years ago. Wow. And he hasn't left us. He passed away physically from this world, but hasn't left us, still guiding us and helping us. Actually, today more than ever before. Today, the teachings take on a new level because his neshama goes to a new level. By a yortzeit, the day of passing, is a day that the righteous, everything of their lives becomes revealed, and every year henceforth, on that day of passing, they elevate to a higher level in Gan Eden, to a higher place in the divine order of things, and as a result, they can give and bring more light into our lives because they themselves are in a greater place. So that means there's something much more that's going to be now than there was previously. So, with that in mind, let us continue our conversation in chapter 15. We spoke about what it means to serve and not to serve God in the Beinoni. Not to serve God means that you are an assiduous learner. You're always engaged in Torah learning, naturally so. Maybe naturally today because in your youth you struggled, but today it's your nature. You're cold to physical things like the taste of food or, pleasurable things. You're cold to it by nature, just, that's your nature. Therefore, you don't need to struggle in order to do good and stay away from evil. So you're not really serving. I'm going to explain that a little more now. As opposed to someone who's struggling. Right? So the Talmud makes a statement about this. Who's someone who serves not? Who's someone that serves? Yeah. Someone who doesn't serve is, the Talmud says, someone who back in the day, just to give the historical context, we're learning from a book, but there were times that there was no printing press, and even a written book was uncommon, and even more so, when it comes to Torah, it was given both written and orally. 10 Commandments carved in stone, the 5 books of Moses written on parchment, thereafter the Tanakh. That's the written part. But most of it is oral because the 5 books of Moses is written in a very short-handed way that you need the understanding of the oral tradition to elucidate, to give it any clarity. And that was a tradition handed down mouth to mouth, verbally, from generation to generation. So back in the day, they would learn 100 times. Talmudic students in the Talmudic Academy, each Mishnah, they would learn it 100 times to commit it to memory. That was the natural course of things. Says the Talmud, someone who learned 100 times is someone who doesn't serve God, but someone who does 101 is serving God. One more. Why should that make such a difference? Because the custom was 100. You went beyond, above and beyond. So to serve God, the 101 time, the extra one, was a real sign of serving God rather than doing what's natural. And the Talmud gives a metaphor for this. Back in the day, donkey drivers used to take things to market. Now, if the driver would charge 1 zuz right? $1, if you will, back in the day, a dollar was worth something. For 10 parsec, Persian miles, let's say 10 miles. But if you wanted to go one extra mile, you wanted to rent out the donkey to take your load to market, and it was 11 miles, 11 parsec, you had to pay double too. That doesn't seem to be to make sense. Pay a tenth more. No. Why? Because the regular route was 10 miles, 10 parsec. You went now and did over and above. Oh, that was extra effort. That was extra hard. Just that one extra mile. Ah, you went 10 already? Okay, that's what I'm used to. To go that above and beyond, you have to pay double. That's the metaphor the Talmud gives to this, that if you learn 101 times, that's called serving God, because you're going beyond the normal practice that was the customary way back in the day. So even though it's only one time more that you're learning, but the quality of that one time is so powerful that it gives a great strength to the individual. Because what did you do? You're changing your habitual way. This was the collective habitual way. Learning at 100, you did it 101. You went beyond your comfort zone. That's what you did. Now, how do you do that? How do you get beyond your comfort zone? So here we're talking about in the service of God, right? So for example, if you are training for the Olympics and you want to get the gold medal, so you're going to have to train very hard to get beyond your comfort zone in order to achieve what you want to achieve. So that we get. You want to exercise because you want to lose weight or you want to be healthy. So you exercise. What do? You go beyond your comfort zone in order to go that little extra. That's where it's all there. It's all counts, right? In the end, you're doing that for yourself because you want to win that gold medal or you want to lose weight or whatever the case may be, or strengthen yourself, right? Here, in our conversation, also it's about the service of God. So you're doing it for Hashem. You're going beyond your nature. So what does that mean? You have to access the love of God that's stronger than your habit. So you need to meditate upon that. You need to think about it. If we don't think it, if we don't, I'm talking to myself. Thank you all for listening. Appreciate it. That way, when I speak out loud like this, you don't think I'm crazy. Even though I'm only talking to myself right now. Because how it is that we're all habitual people. I'm habitual. We're all habitual. Now, of course, everybody has different kind of habits, different levels of where their habits are. And of course, in raising children, you want to make sure that their habits, that you train them well. That will be, my habit is to learn Torah, not to watch Netflix. My habit is to go to synagogue and not, going to the movie theater, whatever, right? My habit is to give charity. That's my habit. As opposed to just spending lavishly on myself. So all those habits are great habits, but that itself is a problem. It's a habit. Wow, you learned Tanya 100 times. Habit, right? So how do you get beyond a habit? That there's something greater than your self-love of the animal soul. And that's the love of Hashem. And that gives you the power that you can get beyond your habit. Excuse me a moment. Hello? Come on in. Downstairs. Yeah? So it's the love of Hashem is greater than the self-love. But we need to contemplate that. We need to think about that. When we can do that, then that will give us the power that we can overcome our nature. Now, and that's called, the Alter Rebbe says, a avodah tama, a perfect service of the Beinoni. An imperfect service is that you don't contemplate, you don't meditate, you don't think about Hashem and the love of God to do it, because that's what Hashem wants, needs from us, rather than doing what our nature is. Right? And we just do it because we have a hidden love for God that's in our soul. It kind of was aroused, that love of God, that it's inherent to my makeup. So that's also serving God, because you have to arouse that inner love to get beyond your habit. But it's an imperfect service. But if someone doesn't wage any war at all, not even engaging the hidden love, the Abba Misoteres that the individual has, yeah. So if you don't wage that war at all, in other words, you study, you do mitzvahs, as we said, but you do it out of habit, then just because that's your nature. So this cannot be credited to you as your service. This is a person who serves him not. So to be designated as one who serves God, the Beinoni must engage in a struggle with the evil inclination, either through contemplating the love of God and developing and bring that love to the fore, or by at least arousing the hidden love. Powerful. So what counts? The high score or the great effort? So in the world, of course, the higher the score, you win the game. Whether it's a game of hockey here in Canada, baseball in the States, soccer / football in South America or in Europe, right? Whatever it might be. Bottom line is the high score. And that's the nature of the world. And the truth is, if you're looking for a doctor, you want someone who's got a higher score than a lower score. Someone who's, knows their stuff than doesn't know their stuff, of course. But when it comes vis-a-vis life itself, our connection to God, so perhaps the metaphor would be like a ladder, an infinite ladder, with, lots of people on it. Where you are on the rungs of the ladder doesn't matter. All that matters which direction. Because if someone is on a high rung, prays 3 times a day, gives 20+% of money to charity, learns Chitas and Rambam, and does everything that they need to do, they're a higher rung. But maybe their prayers are getting a little weak, a little, not as strong as they were 2 months ago. Person's going down the ladder. Or then you have someone on the bottom of the ladder, a lower level of a ladder, so bottom. And you are just starting to engage to put on tefillin even just once a week and to pray once a week. And for you, that's moving up the ladder from where you came from. So in God's eyes, the more beloved one is only the one who's moving upwards. Not the one who's on top, who scored the highest score, but the one who's making the greatest effort. Who's struggling? Excuse me. Hello. Come on in. Making that effort, that struggle, that's what it's about. We say that to our kids when they, did you at least make an effort on the test, or or what? If they scored, top notch, so we don't talk about their efforts. We're happy with the score. But if we're going to be good parents, because we are good chassidim, because we are Beinoni in training, so we're not satisfied with a high score. We're satisfied with great effort, with a high effort and struggle. I hope that's clear. Very powerful. Very powerful. Any questions, any comments? Yeah, beautiful thought. Okay, I don't see any. I'm going to go into Rambam. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you from Chabad Zurich in Montreal, Canada, where it's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you the Tanya, in particular on Chof Dalet Tevis, the yahrzeit of our teacher, the Alter Rebbe. 210 years. And his teachings are just growing and growing. And this is only the beginning. It's just the beginning, folks. Let's do something for the Alter Rebbe today. Let's bring another student on board. Tomorrow, let's double our numbers because everybody brought somebody else to study. Try at least a day. I hope you're up for the challenge. Have an amazing, great day.